Hello there, Ringside Crew.
Hello there, Ringside Crew.
Hey dudes at Ringside Crew, this is Davian.
Hey, it's Jenny Santana here.
This is Elsie.
This is the Savage Juggernaut, Tamaku.
Inside Ring!
This is Thomas D. Bruff.
This is Billy Starks.
Mr. Chad Epic.
Megan Mason.
Hey everybody, Scotland's own Brody Adler.
The headliner in charge, Marco Mania.
This is your girl Charisma.
Papa Dink, Brendan Dicker.
This is According to Woods.
Savannah Summers.
I'm Shorty.
Tasman inside.
You are watching
The internationally known
Dudes at Ringside podcast, hosted by Metal Geek and Joe the Panther Jr.
Hello there, wrestling fans, and welcome to episode 152 of the internationally known Dudes at Ringside podcast. I am your host. I am your host, Joe Panther the Third, and now from the top of Metal Mountain all the way down to all 50 states and the globe, it's the Happy Heel himself, the Metal.
What's going on, Ringside Crew? What's going on, internationally known? What's going on, everybody? What's going on, Joe? How's it going today?
Oh my gosh, this show is gonna be really good. Water, I swear. So you ready to any news? Anything we want to talk about before we introduce our lovely guest today?
We could start it with the guest, you know?
All right. So let's give a war. Dudes at Ringside, welcome to Ring of Honor's own Stella Gray. Welcome, Stella.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you for
how are you?
invite to come on Dudes at Ringside. Not to mention, you are episode 2 of season 2 of our podcast. So welcome.
I'm playing the lottery. It's 2022 and episode 2.
And not only that, Joe, you're forgetting the most important part. Ring of Honor announced their return, and we have Stella Gray on the same exact day.
Yeah.
I didn't plan that.
And it's kind of cool because, as I said to you before we were live, hey, it's one of our friends.
Yeah.
Like, Ring of Honor is pretty much the single-handed reason why I am so attached to the independent wrestling scene like I am with this podcast. Like, in ROH, if it wasn't for ROH, I would never know what is an independent wrestler. Is that a kid that's in high school that wears a singlet and gives each other hugs on a mat in the middle of a circle? That's what I would have thought. I'm like, if I want to see that, I go to a high school. Yeah. So, Stella, who trained you?
Well, Delirious. I started with Delirious. Back then it was Cheeseburger, now known as world famous CB, and Will Ferreira. But the last year or two was strictly world famous CB.
Cheeseburger.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm I still call him Burger, but he's CB now. I gotta transition.
Nothing wrong with a cheeseburger, you know what I mean?
Well, I know. Well, he got the name as a roast. I would think. Well, I have too many nicknames. I know my dojo nickname. I hated my dojo nickname. So Burger's nickname just stuck with him because I can't remember what match he had, but they basically said you're too skinny, you need to eat a cheeseburger, and that was his ring name that stuck. So luckily my nickname didn't stuck because I hated it.
No,
it's hard
we
to
actually
break out of it.
We actually interviewed a hot dog on the show.
Burger, I'm sorry. I have to get in the habit of calling him CB. CB's tagged with him.
Yeah. We know. I think he told us that before.
We were like, you want me to be the hot dog? And we're like, okay. We didn't think he was actually going to do it. When we introduced him, there he is as the hot dog. We're like, it worked.
There was I can't remember. I think it was an outdoor show in Jersey, and the belt was shaped like I thought it was a burger. It's called the Food Fest Championship. I think CB did win it. I can't pet you right now. Sorry.
So my question to you is, I just want to get right into it. How is it working in Madison Square Garden and teaming with the late great Hana Kimura?
Well, first off, that we'll start with Madison Square Garden. That I don't know how else to describe it, but I just thought it was like a dream come true, but it just it felt very surreal because I still feel very green in my career, but that is something crazy to accomplish within 2 years of wrestling. So it wasn't lost on me that I'm a lucky SOB to be here. But about maybe 3 weeks prior to Madison Square Garden, I got in a really nasty car accident.
Oof.
And I was, I don't even know, I was T-boned, and then my car was flipped upside down about 3 times, and I was hanging upside down in my car for 20 minutes. Then they had to call the fire department and like use the jaws of light and cut me out. So I remember when they asked if I wanted to do it and if I was cleared, I didn't care if I was or wasn't. I just basically said, like, I'm doing Madison Square Garden. If you're giving me the option, I'm doing it. I was scared to death. I know, like, I didn't wrestle for the 2 weeks prior or did training because I was so sore and beat up. And then I went to the dojo, and even doing something like simple rolls, just like the fact of being upside down, like, scared me. So when Madison Square Garden came, Sumi and Hana knew. I think they knew deep down that I was hiding how hurt I was because it was Madison Square Garden. So basically, they were in cahoots to basically say, like, we need to protect her this whole entire match and make sure she doesn't take anything serious because of her neck. And I think also Hana was far more experienced than me, and I think she knew, like, I might just be in awe of Madison Square Garden, just be like staring and like realizing, crap, I need to be on the offense right now. Yeah. So Hana was even helping me through the match, and she was just the most caring, selfless, beautiful, kind soul I've ever met. And honestly, I owe that whole entire match to her and Sumi. I really do. I don't know. I'm not going to try to get emotional, but Hana was, and I didn't even know her as closely as other people. Like Sumi and CB were very, very close to her. So that kind of upsets me that how much they lost a very close friend. But for that good of a human being to not be here anymore, it just doesn't feel right. Jesus Christ. You guys are going to make me cry at the beginning 10 minutes. This is ridiculous. I don't like
jeez. No.
What's new, Geek?
Later. Geek, normally I'm the one that does the jipper.
I hate crying too, but yeah, her death deeply, deeply affected me, and I didn't think it would, but that's how much she affected people's lives and how good of a human being she was. And just a crazy talent. Like she was going to go so far. She was going to be amazing, and it just sucks. It sucks that got cut short over Twitter bullshit and cyber Twitter. I swear to God. That's why I don't like. I'm from Philadelphia, so I'm the type of person that's very old school. If you're going to say about on Twitter, you better show up to my face and show up. Who was the person that just recently got in trouble because his girlfriend wasn't it Dana Brooks' boyfriend? Listen,
I think it was.
I don't fault him at all because there's a lot of people that are really brave behind a keyboard, but once it comes face to face, you need to be.
It used to happen to me at work. It used to happen to me at work all the time when I worked in my last job. Somebody got really slick to me on Facebook, and I'm about 5'1", but I did Special Olympics swimming, and I'm a butterflyer, and I'm all upper body. The kid thought he was going to knock me down because I look small when you look at me far away, but I walk like this sometimes when I'm really like, I know if I did a lot of swimming that whole week.
Bro.
Yeah. He came at me and tried to like knock me down because I was a greeter and I was standing like all like I'm little, and he came running at me and he shoulder hit me and he spun around like the freaking cartoon character, like going through the doors. He was like, because I saw him coming, so I went like this, and he was like, and then he spun around and ran out the door and went back outside. I was like, didn't think that, did you?
No, that's the thing.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah,
mouths are bigger than their actual might.
Anyway,
yeah. My thing is because you talked about the garden, that part of the garden. So I'm gonna ask you what I was gonna ask you, even though I was gonna wait until later on. Garden. So like, what were your like feelings like when you when you got into the Garden, like what were your like thoughts, your thought process? Like what were you going through your mind?
I don't remember who told, I don't remember it was CB or somebody else that told me, like, soak it all in. Like, you need to, like, soak every moment of it in. So if anybody knows me, well, first off, we get there hours and hours prior to before the show starts.
Mhm.
And we were all kind of like dolled up because we were just so happy to be at, and we also like knew we'd be taking like behind the scenes pictures and videos and stuff like that. So you kind of wanted to look good. But we all got to the hotel and then we rode the bus over the Garden, and like I'm so used to being in the Hammerstein when we're in New York, and I love the Hammerstein. I love it. A for ECW history, but
venue.
it's a beautiful arena. So when you get to Madison Square Garden, you're like, well, we're not in Kansas anymore.
No.
But anybody that knows me knows I'm a severe overthinker. I'm a perfectionist, and I have severe panic attacks before every single match, like where I am pacing back and forth. I'm chewing gum. I'm like chugging water. Every match. It doesn't matter if it's like a small indie show or ROH or whatever. I am having a panic attack. So at Madison Square Garden, I was eerily calm. Eerily. And everybody's like, what the hell is the matter with Stella? Like, why isn't she freaking out? Because I don't know if it was because of the car accident that just happened a couple weeks, and I had it in my mindset that I'm like, if I die today, I die today. I don't care. At least I got to say I wrestled at Madison Square Garden, and that's how I think that's what made me calm, was because I almost died a couple weeks prior, and I was grateful to be alive, but I was also grateful for this opportunity, and I was just like, if I don't care if I fuck up, because I probably will, but it was just. Yeah, I was just eerily calm. And then the way it was set up, it was kind of weird. So the stage was like really, really high compared to backstage. So you had to like almost climb a ladder to get to the top of the stage. So it wasn't like you could peek through a curtain to see out, because the ramp was just so high. So I remember when you had to like go to your entrance and I saw the ladder, I was like, oh God, I'm like, I'm going to fall just like walking up this thing. And I was just thinking, this is how my match is going to end before it even starts, because I'm going to trip over this thing. So I was trying, so you go up it, and the ramp felt like it was a mile long. It was just, yeah. So I remember just like slowly walking down it and trying to look all badass. But if you look closely, you will see me look like a 5-year-old looking at an ice cream truck, like, oh my God. And I think I was starting to like tear up a bit, because I was just grateful to be there. But it was also just kind of like, you dream about something like this when you get into wrestling, but you dream about it, but part of you always doesn't think it might not be possible, but it's a dream to have. Like, I'm a realist, so I'm like, it might not ever happen, but I just never thought it would actually happen. So the fact that it did happen, I think I was just kind of in complete shock, but I was in the moment to actually enjoy it. And like, if you ask any vet wrestler, they always say like, you're still green where you don't hear the crowd, because you're so focused on your match. I never heard the crowd in any matches until that night. I heard every single person. I heard every single thing. And I was just kind of like with the fans, like enjoying it with them. And so it probably was one of the best experiences of my life. And it was in Madison Square Garden. So
Yeah. I mean, I was just about to say, I was actually in attendance that night. And for you guys, it was exciting. For Geek, been to so many Ring of Honor shows. But to see it in Madison Square Garden, my jaw dropped when I saw that stage, how big the stage was. And I was like, holy crap, I'm here. And this show is here. You know?
That was before WrestleMania 35, right?
Yeah. That was the show before WrestleMania 35. And I was like, I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I was watching a Ring of Honor show. I was watching everybody I watched in the Hammerstein Ballroom in Madison Square Garden. And I thought that this is awesome. You know?
Yeah, like when we arrived like hours prior, they had the ring just set up with like some of the barricade, but they didn't have the ramp set up, so we didn't see like how grand the entrance was, because they kept us backstage for all of it. So when you finally got, you're like, holy crap, this is a lot bigger ramp than what I remember. And you just all you do is just walk down it and kind of like look around. You're like, this is a huge arena. Okay.
Yeah.
That's why a lot of wrestlers that have never been to the Garden, see, this is kind of sad to say this, WCW never experienced that real New York welcome. WCW only got the water the 99-cent store Long Island NASA Coliseum welcome. They only went to NASA Coliseum. They never went to Madison Square Garden. That's the sad thing about WCW. They never got a chance to go to the Garden.
Well, that's kind of shit. Because why am I blanking? Who owned WCW? The billionaire.
Yeah,
I can't remember.
Ted Turner.
Ted Turner. He was a billionaire. Stop scratching. Sorry. It's the dog. What people really don't know is it's crazy expensive to run a show out of Madison Square Garden. If you want it televised or pay-per-view, it's even more crazy to it. That's why even with WWE, you don't see pay-per-views out of Madison Square Garden. It's a great venue, but the price to stream or do a pay-per-view or shoot like TV episodes is astronomical. So I mean, I shouldn't be talking crap, but this is what I hear. Allegedly. So
no, it's actually true. I've heard that too. I've heard that.
We're all gonna get
a couple companies, so it's not like it's not.
We actually had a question from the audience. We had a question.
I don't know, but sorry, go ahead.
That's okay. We had a question from the audience. Geek's gonna put it on the screen.
What was your favorite wrestling move do? What's your favorite finish that you do?
So I never technically had a finisher. I have one in mind that I'm working on now. I got to see if I can actually pull it off smoothly. But I always joke I never really had a finisher. I just had moves that I did. The one I love doing so much just because I do it so easily and so well is a spear. Just because I think of football, and if you ever see me do a spear, I am angry as hell, and I'm coming to rip your body in half. There's an infamous spear that I watch on repeat just because I did not like that match, and I'm going to talk shit. I don't give a crap because that person's not around anymore. I did not like that person either. So when I only got that one spear, and I made sure to make it fucking count. But yeah, spear is one of my favorite just because I enjoy doing it so much. Just because I know I can do it well and I never stress about it too much. But one of the ones that it wasn't a finisher because I can't finish because I can only hold it for a 5 count. And I never really had a name for it. I think I just called it like the tourniquet. It's when I would do a back bend over the corner ropes and choke somebody and then kind of flip out onto the outside. I just kind of thought it looked cool. And I'm short, so I was impressive that I could actually reach my hands upside down and touch the mat while strangling somebody with my legs.
Oh, jeez.
I think God, stop saying it. I think CB gave me that one. Delirious gave me my Stella. We call it the Stellagram DDT. It's basically it's almost like Okada's like whip out clothesline, but I whip out
the Rainmaker.
DDT. Yeah,
the Rainmaker. Yeah, that move's awesome.
There's a girl
but mine is like you kind of go into a full analysis and I grab you by the wrist, turn you out, and pull you in. But because I was like, that's intricate. I'm like, I never would have thought of that. But Delirious is like an endless amount of wrestling knowledge of moves and counters. And at the ROH dojo, he would just, it's scary as shit when you're a new student. And he decides, you're going to come in the ring with me. We're going to do a match. No time limit. He's going to let you know when you're done. Basically force you to tap out or until you beg him to please stop. So you have to think of counters on the fly really quickly with him, and he is fast and he knows way too much. But I think somebody asked me one time, like, what's the scariest move you ever taken? And it was a Razor's Edge by Delirious, because he knew it scared the shit out of me and he knew I had to get over my fear. But still, I'm like, I'm gonna die today. But that was one of his finishers, and I remember saying, like, no, the match is over if you're giving me that. Like, I'm dead.
Yeah, that was one of my questions I was going to ask you. What was it like working with Delirious, being trained by Delirious?
Well, for me, I was the only girl in the class and at the dojo for the longest time. I think Mandy Leone kind of went through the same thing. I think she did. So that's why me and her are really close, for training at the dojo, but we kind of went through the similar thing about being the only girl in our class. So being the only girl, but Delirious with this raspy voice and blah. I was scared to death of him for probably the first 3 maybe even I think by the 6-month mark I warmed up to him, or he warmed up to me, I guess. But because of his vet status and history and like how well he is and just how it just makes everything look so easy, like, and seamless. It's intimidating, especially for a new student when you wrestle him, but he is the nicest. I don't know if I should be saying this shit, but he is one of the nicest people in the whole wide world, and he will let you bend his ear about anything. He will help you in any way, whether it's you're thinking about like what gear you want to wear, or like how you want to present yourself, like your character wise, or certain story, like what you want to portray across. And but yeah, for me, I was scared to death of him for the longest time, but once you get to know him, he honestly is one of the kindest, most giving human beings I've ever met in my life. And I swear to God, if anybody ever said a bad word about him, I would take a bullet and I'd probably kill the other person.
Okay, sorry about
Have you ever considered switching your outfit attire from black and gray to blue and gray and blue?
I like black. I don't know what it is. I like black leather. I always like black leather. Blue is my favorite color. So, and I don't like red and black. I'm not a girly girl. I hate the color pink. Green, yellow, not really my style. So that's why I'm like gray and silver and blue. But what I have an idea for what I should do next has nothing to do with black leather, blue, or anything like that. So yeah, I think it might be a change. I'm trying not to give too much away, but what I will say is I was a huge ECW fan, ECW fan, but they were, by the time I got into it, they were like a year before closing. So I didn't get to see any of the old school stuff, but I obviously, God bless YouTube and everything else, you get to watch that stuff. I loved Raven and Tommy Dreamer's feud. So we'll just say like something along that style. I just like that 90s grunge look.
Oh, like, yeah, I can see the leather. You come in with the leather jacket with the shirt tied around your waist, like the Raven style. That's just giving an idea. Well, you could always go.
No, it's just very. Although I heard Moxley say like how much it sucks to wrestle in jeans, and I always wondered that. I'm like, who can wrestle in jeans? Like you see people in like death matches and street fights, they do wrestle in jeans just because you don't want your gear to get ripped up by barbed wire and glass. Because gear, if you ever saw like gear pants, like mine are paper thin, so if somebody threw glass or barbed wire, they would turn into shorts or like a thong real quick if I was wearing shorts because they would rip so easily. So that's why gear, it's spandex. It's a thin spandex because you need to like stretch and move. So street fights, you're not really doing flippity moves and all that other stuff. So you don't need to be wearing. But yeah, I haven't had to do any of those. Thank God, not yet.
Yeah.
Have you? Sorry. Go ahead, Joe.
Like as we usually always ask the guests, like what other style of wrestling would you consider? You said barbed wire and death match. Would you ever consider doing like that kind of wrestling or no?
That's a funny thing because all the guys at the dojo make fun of me about how like sorry, I should find his remote. I was like a crazy ECW fan. Like at the dojo, all the guys were like WCW was better than ECW, and I would get like legit angry and would like pick fights with the guys. So ECW was known for hardcore matches and crazy, like I'm trying to think, like one of the craziest matches was Terry Funk and Cactus Jack with the barbed wire ring and like setting stuff each other on fire. But once you like feel that stuff in real life, you're like, I don't know if and you look at the ECW guys, like especially even watching any of the documentaries, but like Dark Side of the Ring, and you see how scarred up their bodies are.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Like New Jack. New Jack's forehead scares the crap out of me. Sorry, I'm trying not to curse.
Yeah.
You can curse. You can curse.
I curse way too much, but I'm trying to filter myself. But yeah, I love New Jack. He wasn't like a technical wrestler, but he drew a crowd and he had some of the most crazy matches and memorable matches in ECW. But when his Dark Side of the Ring episode, and I was like, I can't wait to watch this. It's gonna be so great. I could only focus on his forehead for like certain things. I'm like, oh my god, his forehead's so jacked up. Like it's so jacked up. But he did some of the craziest matches. Like Mick Foley, I don't think his head's like that messed up, but like his body's jacked up.
Definitely.
So part of you, like, I think if you do, it's not a common like ECW, let's do it every week type of thing. Like you have to, I think it would have to be something built up. But like look at even like Mickie James and Deanna, their match just this past week with their
that was bloody.
Their thumbtacks and everything. I heard thumbtacks don't hurt going in; they hurt more coming out.
That's what I heard.
I'm like,
I have to wrestle
maybe I
that
could use
taken.
thumbtacks. But one of the first, like when I started training at the dojo, you had to do ring crew. One of the first matches I got to see in person doing ring crew was, oh my god, why am I blanking? It's Amanda Leone versus Taylor Hendricks, and they did a street fight. And I was just thinking, like, once you're in it and you start training, you're like, that looks like it hurts like a mother. Yeah. So you think about it, like, I think I could do that. But once you're in the ring, your adrenaline's pumping so much that, and there is like times when you get injured in the middle of a match, you don't feel it until you get backstage and the adrenaline drops. So I say never, but I think I would be particular with who I do the match with and what type of match.
Yes, but you gotta be really safe on who you do your matches with. You really have to like research them before you just say, yeah, I'll do that match with that guy. That will rip my arm off.
Well, there's some people that you think you could trust and they take liberties just because they're a vet, which I have been on the receiving end of that. And you keep your mouth shut, and then after a while, you realize you need to basically defend yourself. If somebody's in there to purposely break your bones,
yeah,
you need to defend
everybody
yourself.
new in the chat, just don't forget to push the don't forget to push the follow button. Everybody
follow us all. Follow everybody here.
Everybody that's in here that's never been here before, please push the follow button. Yeah. I think our guests would like that if you followed us. That'd be nice. Yeah. It'd be nice.
I think it's Stella Gray 215, not 125. I saw that earlier, and I'm like, no, it's not 125, 215, because it's Philly's zip area code.
And it's funny you say that you're from Philly. Yeah. I'm from Milford, Pennsylvania. I'm from PA. So.
Are you?
Yes.
Well, I'm not in Pennsylvania anymore. I miss it, but I don't also.
Oh, thank you so much. There you go.
There we go.
There's the follow button. Thank you.
I got to follow Ringside Crew. What? Yeah, so I've been here right now for 16 years. And I had to call out of work today because of that ice. That Pennsylvania ice that does not give up.
What? My family texted me this past weekend because of the 95 was shut down. They're like, I heard it was really bad. Are you okay? I'm like, it was 2 inches. And all of my family laughed. They're like, that's it? And I was like, yep. I'm like, in Pennsylvania, you're expected to come into work with 10 inches of snow.
Yeah,
but down here, the whole entire everything, because they don't have snow plows, they don't have snow trucks. They literally just have plows on the front of pickup trucks. And obviously they can't shovel 95 with a pickup truck and a plow. And I'm just laughing. I'm like, no, nobody knows how to drive in this state either. God, it's like my road rage. I have horrible road rage, but God Almighty, has it gotten far worse in the state. When I was just back in Baltimore for the final battle, I remember Silas Young was in my car, and Silas always thought I was a quiet girl because I am kind of quiet backstage. Before, because I have like anxiety and I'm really like in my head, so I'm kind of quiet backstage. So when we were driving and I'm cursing and screaming at people, he's like, Stella, I had no idea this was who. I was like, oh, you have no idea who I am. I am screaming. He's like, you're always so quiet. I can't do his thing. And he's like, I'm not gonna lie, I kind of like it. I was like, oh, well, we're just scratching the surface.
Everyone says he sounds like Randy Savage, kind of.
I never thought of that. But yeah, like he's from I think he's from Wisconsin. I know that's where he used to live. I don't know if he's still living there, but part of me is like, I don't hear the accent. Sometimes I do. Because Beer City, I don't think I hear the accent with him either. But I don't think I have a Philly accent unless I get angry. If I get angry, then you hear that. And like, even my personal trainer down here, he's like, you're Italian. And he's like, when you're angry, like you start talking with your hands. I was like, yeah, that's true. So.
Yeah. I grew up in Long Island. And when I came up here, I was just like, they called me. I said, I'm from the Flatlands. I'm not from here. I'm like, I know I'm not from here. I'm from Long Island.
Yeah.
Every time.
Well, I had like a
Whatever.
speech impediment as a kid, so I had to take speech class. So I think like they taught me how to get rid of the accent real young because I couldn't say my R's or something when I was a child. So when I was in grade school or something. So I had to miss art class to go take speech classes.
Is there any independent wrestling promotion that you want to try on like on the East Coast or West Coast that you're thinking about trying to get into, like go to wrestle for? Or anything?
I'm kind of open to anything. Like, I know that I think there's one base in Virginia that I saw that's like out of Norfolk, and I'm like, well, that's pretty close. I should probably, and I think it's VCW, and then there's like UEW. I think that's based out of Richmond, but like obviously, Beyond and MLW, those are the two big ones. Well, Beyond, I did wrestle. They had a women's show called Women's Wrestling Revolution, and I got lucky to be on a show for that. And the promoter there is amazing.
Yeah,
and also like the locker room, it was an all women's show, so obviously Women's Wrestling Revolution. But I remember that match. That was one of the first or second times I saw Maria Manic, and she was gushing blood. I can't remember who she had the match with, and she was just like chilling backstage. I'm like, bitch, you're in a bra gushing blood backstage. It's just like a white computer that's like barely hanging on. She could care less. Like, I just laugh. I'm like, Maria, like nothing phases her. Nothing phases her. But like I think Penelope was back there. I think there was like everybody was back there. Was it Melina? I think Melina was there too. She was main event. Chris Statlander, she was on the show. Like, it was an amazing show.
Becca was there probably too. Becca and Little Mean Kathleen, probably Davian Nightmare.
Yeah, she definitely. I think I had the match with. It was a tag match. I think it was Vanette, Miranda Vanette, Davian versus me and Gabby. Was it Gabby Ortiz? And then Riley Shepard, because I think Riley got injured, so then they asked me to come in, and Riley was kind of like our manager. So yeah, it was a cool match. And I think that was my match shortly after Florida. I remember I had a broken nose, and they asked me if I want to do it. So I was like, oh, I'm not going to tell them I have a broken nose. I'm like, I know these girls, and they're like, we'll take care of you. And then the first 10 minutes, we fucked up, and I took a leg drop right on the nose. And I remember they're like, are you okay? I'm like, work through it.
No.
I didn't feel like when you're in the match, you don't feel it until you get backstage. I'm like, it's already broken. It can't get more broken. I'm like, what's the matter?
Was it like a John Cena broken nose? Was it like the John Cena broken nose that it's always sorry? Was it like the John Cena broken nose? Your nose will appear, or just
no? Well, I didn't get to see how broken it was because it happened. What show was it? Oh, I know it was in Florida. I'm trying to remember if it was Miami or Lakeland. I think it was Lakeland. So I knew it was broken the moment in the match, because if you watch that match, you will see me curse on TV, because I immediately grab my face and I say F you to the person that broke it. Because I felt like it was on purpose. And then I got backstage and I did find out it was on purpose. So as soon as I got backstage, half the locker room was there. And I was like, clearly something's up. And they're like, you all right? You all right? And I was like, I'm like, I feel like my nose is broken. And like, as soon as I took it away, like, people kind of give a look. I'm like, it's broken. So then I think it was, I know for a fact it was Sumi. I think it was Mayu as well. And Sumi, she's a quiet, sweet, nicest human being in the world. But she has like a MMA background, but also she's kind of a badass. Like, if she wanted to kill you or break your arm, she could. So she's just like she's like, oh, it looks a little broken. Just take a breath. I'm like, take a what? And she set it back into place for me. I wanted to punch her because it hurt so bad, but my nose is straight, so I gotta thank her. So yeah, it was just I just had to deal with swollenness for a while, and like the doctor basically said, like, unless it's like severely broken or bleeding, like an open cut, there's nothing you can do for a broken nose. I'm like, are you shitting me? And they're like, no, like unless it's like severely off center. And he basically said, like, thank your girlfriend for resetting it, because they're basically just have to ice it and like make sure you don't hit it. And I was like, okay.
Actually, Final Kill want to know who your favorite ECW wrestler was.
I'm going to get crap for this. I'm going to get so much crap for this. I can tell you, because I can't lie, because all my dojo bros will call me out if I lie. So my favorite was Tommy Dreamer. I was quietly obsessed with him, severely obsessed with him when I was a fan. But not so much now. Just, well, with certain things that were said.
That's okay. You don't have to go into it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah.
But like,
You're so
he's
canceled.
also, people are like, he wasn't the greatest wrestler at ECW. I'm like, I know he wasn't. I know he wasn't the greatest technical wrestler. Just like Sandman and New Jack weren't the greatest technical wrestlers. You can't say that they weren't popular. I'm like, but I liked like Tommy's like no die spirit. Like he was willing to bleed for the company and he wouldn't give up. And like I just love that. He was the quintessential underdog, and he would take any match. And I remember when he was backstage at an ECW show. I think he was like tagging with I have to say Bully. I'm so used to saying Bubba because of ECW, but Bully. And I wanted to say something to him, but I felt still too green. I wanted to be like, your wife is what got me into wrestling. Because I remember when I was a kid, the match that I saw that made me just kind of stop me in my tracks was Rob Van Dam and Fonzie versus Tommy Dreamer and Buell McGillicuddy. There's a funny like reason why that match happened. So basically, I think Rob Van Dam got injured in that match. So then it just kind of turned into Fonzie versus Beulah. And she had like a cookie sheet and she bashed him over and he was just pouring blood. So I just remember seeing like walking by my brother's room and I was like, what is this? And he's like, oh, it's ECW. And I was like, well, a girl can fight a guy. He goes, ECW, they can. And I just thought it was the coolest thing. I'm like, girls can beat the crap out of guys. And he's like, oh yeah. And I was like, well, I want a part of that. Like, I just thought it was the coolest thing ever. And so that's what kind of got me into wrestling. And yeah, I don't know. It's been history ever since of me wanting to kick people's asses. Let's say I can't.
It's so funny to think that like back in the day, like a man versus a woman would be like, oh, good heavens. But nowadays you're like, we'll have Little Mean Kathleen versus like, I can't think any names. Some people from just like have a man versus a woman. So like, Geek, ask the fun question you always ask. Your favorite question.
No, I was just about to ask something a little different though.
Go then. Never mind. We'll do it
I was actually going to ask her, while we were on the subject before, I was going to ask her, did you get to watch like the actual show from Madison Square Garden, or were you backstage the whole time? Like, because
I did get to see my brother at the time lived in New York, and I think it was his girlfriend. I don't think it was his fiance. Well, they're married now, but regardless, his girlfriend or fiance at the time. So they came, and so they were texting me and they told me where they were sitting, and they were I think they were on the floor. So I remember like trying to figure out a way to get from backstage to like the crowd, and like even security, like even they were like, no, you can't. I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? I'm like, I'll be like, what do you need to give me? Like, give me a wristband, whatever. But yeah, I do remember, I think, was it the main event? Jay White versus Okada, and then Taven, Lethal, and Marty. I think I got to watch from the crowd, and it was amazing. Like,
yeah,
it just like, I don't know how else to describe it, but like the electricity of the crowd, and just like you could feel the vibration of everybody. So yeah, I did get to like most of the time, like you were backstage and they have like monitors so you can see some stuff. But I knew at one point I'm like, I want to go out in the crowd and like watch this in the actual arena of Madison Square Garden. So yeah, I did luckily get a chance to.
I know. I was gonna ask you what was like, besides your match, what was your favorite match from the show?
Oh, that's too hard. I would say the ROH World Title, just because I love Taven so much, and that's another one. Like I consider Taven and Lethal are like the two biggest locker room leaders in ROH. So I just wanted Taven to win so badly. So when that match is probably because I was like genuinely overly emotional, like so excited and happy for him that he won, and in Madison Square Garden, I was like, he deserves this. He, like, if anybody knows Taven backstage and the person he is and how he literally helps anybody with anything, like asking about your match, how you can improve, what did I do wrong, but he's also like a jokester, and he just like wants to see people smiling and having fun backstage. So I was so happy that he got it. But oh my god, I loved Ospreay and Cobb too. That was another great match. There's too many. Like I like the battle royale, like just seeing like everybody's little spots in that.
Yeah, that one and Ibushi and Naito probably stole the show from me.
That's what I mean. Like there was way too many. Like I can't like. I joke like when you're a wrestler, I think you some of the stuff like, yeah, it's like Let's come and go. Like you see a match, but then there's certain stuff where you turn into a kid again, where you get excited for matches where you're just like, oh my god, like just because how beautiful the match is and how everything. But yeah, there were so many. There's way too many matches for me to pick a favorite. I just remember being excited to be there, but also being happy for everybody. Oh, I thought my dog was gonna unplug the phone. I was like, because I have like an extension cord. Let me just pull this tighter just to be safe. But yeah, I was just happy for everybody and the sound of the crowd too. That crowd was hot the whole entire night, and it made it even better.
Not only that, it's also nobody's been back there since.
No.
I'm saying like only WWE. That's it.
Yeah, they do house shows. I have to say, I feel like I thought I heard WWE did like a house show.
And SmackDown. They did SmackDown.
Yeah, after Christmas. Wasn't there a after Christmas show?
There was a Christmas show, and I think they did. Was it SmackDown? I think they believe they did a SmackDown show there too.
My sister doesn't really watch wrestling, and she was like, we went to a football game after like my Christmas present. I said, maybe next year you should try to get me WWE tickets. My sister's like, well, when is the show? I said, it will be today. And she's like, they do show after Christmas? The day after Christmas? It's like every year. And she's like, what? I'm like, did people like show up? I was like, it sells out. That's like the end of Christmas tour.
It's crazy. I'm like, I'm still eating and drinking from the holidays. I would not want to wrestle the day after. That's the one thing I did love about, well, I mean, ROH is still obviously, but ROH was always respectful of people's personal time and their families. So I obviously had Final Battle, and then we filmed TV episodes, but they gave a solid month off for holidays for everybody, which was nice.
That's always a good thing. You know
what?
That's a really good thing that they do that for the wrestlers.
Because you have if you're traveling, especially some of the guys are traveling nonstop, and then you have other indie shows and stuff like that. So you have the option to be like, all right, well, I'll pick up an indie show here or there, but it's a good time to rest and relax and have your body recoup, but also have time to be around friends and family. Like, especially when you're first starting out, you miss a lot of family parties, birthdays, and stuff like that. And a lot of people don't realize how much you have to sacrifice in your personal life for this business. So when you get a chance to actually have time for an actual holiday that you get to be with your family and you're not skipping or missing one again, it's not something to be appreciated. And I always love that. So that's why Final Battle was like a huge pay-per-view, because you go out with a bang and then have a nice long break.
Yeah, that's the best part of it.
It's like when you're doing gym time or any sort of training, what motivates you and why do you do it?
Oh, that's a good question. People joke. I used to take pre-workout. I just get angry. Like, I think there's a meme somewhere. It's like, do you use pre-workout or do you just use the angriness of life to motivate you? I'm like, yeah, the angriness of life. I literally, like, I know what my dojo bro, Shaheem Ali, he always used to joke in training, I'd always have this Stella stare or the Stella look. And that's when I knew, like, you pissed me off and now I'm coming for you. So when I moved down here, I hired a personal trainer. His name's Wes Taylor. And I always talked about the Stella stare, and he never knew what I was talking about. Until one day I had a really bad experience with another human being, and I came in pissed off at the gym, and we were doing training, and he goes, I see the Stella stare now. And so he taught me like powerlifting and stuff like that. And so whenever I needed to lift extra heavy, he just like, I need that Stella stare. I need that like Stella attitude. So I really do like what I feel frustrated about the world or people. I literally focus on it and basically have to be like, screw you. This is my life and I'm going to make them like, it's basically, if you tell somebody they can't do something, it motivates you. That's the mindset I get. Like, if you underestimate me, I'm going to show you what I could do. And my biggest hype man, I always joke, is Shaheem Ali. So when I first started out, he told me about the Stella stare, but if I ever was like second guessing myself or obviously having anxiety attacks, he would always get my face in and he'd be like, you're Stella motherfucking great, and don't you ever forget it. So whenever I feel like I'm having a bad day, I hear his voice in my head, like, you're still a motherfucking gray and don't you forget it. So like, I joke that there's sometimes in my gym, like if I'm squatting or deadlifting, and I have to hear that you're still a mother, and I'm like, all right, that's all I needed. Thank you.
Always good to
So I
hear
love Ali.
motivation.
Ali's still helping me even with working out. Not only just like motivating me wrestling, but like working out and trying to push through stuff.
Yeah, it's always good to get motivation like that with certain people, you know?
Who wants to know what your favorite holiday food is?
Oh my God, I'm a fat girl in a little girl's body. That's way too much. I really am. I love to cook, and more so, I love to eat. Holiday food. That's a good. I don't know. I'm like, if holiday food, are we talking like Thanksgiving or Christmas? Because Christmas, all I think about is baked goods. Like,
like cookies, like those big tubs of cookies.
I like green bean casserole.
Christmas. Okay, I'm weird. Like Thanksgiving, I love green bean casserole, but I only like the way I make it. So for Thanksgiving, I'm like, no, I'm making green bean casserole because I make it with like cheese and crumbles on top, and like it's gotta be. Oh, it's good. It has to be crunchy and like
I'd eat the hell out of that. I'd eat like 2 plates of that.
How do you? It's simple. You buy. I like the skinny green beans too, so they get like crispy. So you bake them, and then you put like I think it's like cream of mushroom soup, and then dice up some shallots and mushrooms. But then you get fried onions. But then you also ever see this Parmesan crisps? Grate that on top with extra cheese. It's so good. I think it's Paula Dean's recipe. God's honest truth. I think I found it somewhere. I'm like, she knows what she's doing. But food, Christmas wise, I love monkey. I call it monkey cake. Other people call it monkey bread. Like sweet, like cinnamon Danish. But I also just made something this year, and it was a huge hit. It was like these cheesesteak stuffed churros. Holy crap! It's diabetes in a roll, but I don't care. It's so good. Everybody I gave it to this year, they're like, it was really good. I was like, yeah, I know. Like I probably won't make anything else but those things next year.
Oh, Christmas presents. Ta-da.
Well, that's the thing. I think I made 4 butter cakes. I made, I don't even know how many of those churros, and I baked something else. And I joked, I'm like, everybody's getting diabetes for Christmas. Merry Christmas.
Oh, jeez. What? Everybody got diabetes.
Well, because it's just nothing but butter and sugar and like, I don't know, like, flour.
It's like the Oprah. You get diabetes. And
nobody complained though. Nobody complained. I'm like, if you work out, you're fine. Or just like even it out.
Everybody gets diabetes.
Oh no, I made 100 pigs in blanket too. But that.
No, there you go. It's even better.
That evened out.
That's even better.
I can't imagine wrestlers opening presents in their attire.
In their attire, in our gear.
Yeah, in their gear.
Why would we open presents in our
like the Briscoe brothers open it up.
Like sleeping. Like if you understood, like the moment we get backstage, we rip that crap off. Like it is sweaty, it is sticky. The moment, like if you like my other gear, when I first started wrestling, I wear a white leather vest. I don't know why I thought that was an ingenious idea. I just like the look of it. Do not wrestle in leather. It overheats and it sticks to you, and then eventually the leather starts like peeling off on your like inside of your skin and all of my back. Ugh. And I was, like I said, very shy backstage, but the moment I got done my match, I unzippered that thing and I was literally just hanging out in the bra, and I'm like, I don't give a shit. I'm sweaty and disgusting. I like literally the moment I got backstage, I like ripped that thing wide open. I'm like, I just need air. So yeah, we don't keep our gear on it. It's not comfortable. We rip it off.
Like exchanging presents. The Briscoes are backstage. I got my present, bitch.
I love the Briscoes way too much.
The Briscoes are awesome. They're the super nicest guys. Don't tell them. I met them.
We were setting up our month for tag team month. Geek's like, we should try to get the Briscoes, and I'm like, I wish we can get the Briscoes.
They're very busy. I know that.
They're super busy.
Those are busy men right there. Those are busy men,
and they're family men. They have, I don't even know how many kids.
I told Geek we're not going to get the Briscoes.
5, and they might have 3 or 4, but they're family men. And
I said to Geek, that's a good dream to get the Briscoes one day, but those men are working their asses off.
Yeah.
I actually met Mark in the middle of the street. He's a super nice guy, by the way.
He is super. They both are, but Mark's a big goofball. He's a huge goofball.
I think I yelled at him halfway in the middle of the street. He's like, "Yo, Briscoe," and then he's like, "Your boys going to the show?" I'm like, "Yeah."
And then I was gonna say, like, I don't think I can have any. No, there's no
He's
stories
the-
I can
he's-
publicly share about
He's
the
the
Briscoes.
he's the super nicest guy, though, Mark. You know?
They are.
He didn't have to stop and say hi to me. He could have just kept walking, just said hi and started talking to me. He's super nice, you know.
Yeah, no, they are. That's what I mean. Like, mostly everybody in ROH is we call it a family, and I do consider them all a family, and I really do. It's just because everybody's looking out for the best interests, and everybody wants to see everybody do well, but everybody is genuinely a nice human being, and they're not assholes in real life. Like, if you see them, they will act like a friend. Like, hey, how you doing? How you been? Especially Mark. Mark is like, hey, bud.
Yeah, Mark's so cool. But
all right, there's a story I could share.
There you go.
I'm like, some of them, because most of them are after shows. I'm like, no, I'm not sharing that publicly.
Yeah.
But
yeah, we don't want you to get in trouble. So
no, yeah, I'm not. I know that much. ROH has a tryout camp, I think once a year. And I remember the one tryout camp. I think I was still a student, so I was basically like in the back taking notes. But Mark and Jay were going back and forth about like giving critiques to people. But I remember whoever was trying out, like they messed up, but then like their gimmick didn't really make sense. And so I just remember Jay be like, so, can you just explain what happened? Can you just like, and then Mark comes up and he like tries to like he said some rambling stuff, and the guys were just like, yeah, kind of. Just like, oh, I see. And then they just start going, Mark and Jay just start going off like, this is how it should have went. This is what they did, blah, blah, blah. Nobody's understanding what they're saying. They basically have their own language. and they're like, you got it. And they're like, you got it, guys. And the guys in the ring were like, okay, thank you. But we're all like, what did they say? But everybody in the, like at the tryout were confused. Like, what happened in the match, or what was your character? Like, and so that's what Jay's first question was. But Mark, I don't know how he understood it. And then he explained it to Jay, but he explained it to Jay that none of us understood, but Jay did. And then they just had like a 2-minute conversation. And the rest of us were just standing around like, what? Okay. All right. Like, I don't know. I can't remember. Like, I couldn't even tell you like what specific words they said if I tried. Like,
they were speaking what I used to know in college, Stella. With these, when I was my last job, I worked with a set of twins. And they had what they would tell me was called Twingo, twin lingo. They would be talking to me, and I'd be saying something, and they'd look at each other and go, and they understood each other. And I'm going, like the dog staying at the answer machine for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
I'm like, am I about to die? Like, what? Like, am I going to be found in the bottom of a river dead? Like, what?
If you were having a tag partner, who would it be?
Oh, if I were to have a tag partner, who would it be? You know what? I never really thought about that.
Can it be anyone? Can it be anyone? Silent Dominator, or is it anyone, or is it anyone in Ring of Honor?
It could be anyone. That's what I'm trying to think. Like, part of me would want to say like Mandy, but I don't. I just because we were trained the same way, so we would understand like how to play off of each other. But part of me feels like that's not. I'd rather face her than have her as my partner, so that's why I don't want to say that. I kind of want to say Christina Marie. She's based in New York, and I had a match with her, and I was just talking about her just this week to my wrestling trainer down here, where we had a match, and she had to give me a power. She's strong as hell. I remember watching her powerlifting videos, and that kind of got me interested in powerlifting, but mostly for the fact that it was supposed to be a one-on-one match, but there was a snowstorm. It was like in North New York, and there was a snowstorm, so somebody else's match got canceled, so our match turned into a 3-way, and it just went to hell in a handbasket really quickly because there's 3 of us. But I went to pin the other girl, and instead of pulling me or breaking up, she just dead ass picked me up and powerbombed me. Oof. No help at all. And I remember thinking, but midway through the year, I'm like, damn, this bitch is strong. And like, I was dead weight to her, and she just picked me up and powerbombed me like I was nothing. And I was like, yeah, she's also a really nice girl.
Oh, she's a sweetheart.
But
Yeah,
I
she's
like
so
her,
nice.
like her grit and like her gimmick and everything. I would say that would be a tag partner that I would like.
She came on here. She's been on Dudes at Ringside.
She's been on our podcast.
Okay, cool, yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't seen her in years, but
super nice. Super nice.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, outside the ring, she's this most gentlest giant you'll meet in the business, like in the indie
I
scene.
joke that anybody that's a heel is probably the nicest human being in the world compared to the faces, because you get to be an asshole at your job and curse people out and get all your frustration out in the world. So then when real life happens, you got it all off your chest and you can be like happy-go-lucky again. While the face, you have to be perfectly happy and like all the time, where you don't get that release of screw you, leave me alone.
Yeah. There's actually been some heels on this podcast, not to say names because I don't want to ruin their gimmick, but they've been the nicest people to us. You have no idea. Joe knows who I'm talking about. Not to say names, but you know, the nicest people. So
I mean, there's always exceptions to the rule. There are some heels that are absolute assholes.
Oh yeah.
You're like, all right, cool.
Yeah, we've had to deal with some people that they seem really cool, and then after the podcast, they totally everybody stops talking to us because they're so busy. But this person just totally cut us off completely. I was like, thanks, thank you, next.
That's it. They just say I came on the podcast. That's it. I'm done. I'm done talking to you guys. That's it.
And everybody else is still talk to us. Like we have one lady that's coming on back. She's coming back on the podcast, and I'm so happy to have her back. She's a ring announcer. I don't know if you ever heard of Rain, Ringside Rain, in California. She won the WWE Ring Announcers contest for SummerSlam.
Okay, that's maybe why it sounds right. I have the worst memory. I can't remember like friends' names. I've had way too many concussions in a short amount of time.
Oh,
so if anybody gets offended if I don't remember certain names,
it's okay.
Your face, I remember.
We totally understand that. You know, you guys go through so much stuff in the ring, and you guys go through so much stuff, and like we totally understand if you can't respond to a message from us, and we're like, that's why I said in the chat, we are the most easygoing podcast, because if you're going through something, you're going to the gym and you can't get back to our message, we're like,
okay, whatever.
She'll see it later. Don't worry. I told Geek this morning because, as I said, I got iced in. So I was like telling Geek, I don't have work today. You don't have work today. Just make the room early and message her and send it to her. This is the chat this is the room for today. Mm-hmm. That's why you got it so early in the thing. I said, send it to her early. I'll explain her and ask her. Tell her what to do. You know what I mean?
Have you ever wrestled Tennille Dashwood? She's amazing.
I have twice, I believe. Both were 6-man, 6-woman tags. Or was it? No, sorry. One was a tag. One was a 6-man. I think it was me and Sumi versus Tennille and Jenny Rose in Michigan, I believe. And then the other one was I tagged with her. It was me, Jenny, and Tennille versus Riley Shepard, Ashley Vox, and Chris Statlander.
That was a good match.
That was a long match. I remember thinking for a 6-man, that went long. And I think I got most of everything. I remember Tennille saying, she's like, what the? She's like, you literally like took every single like hit. And I was like, I didn't realize that until like watching it back. I'm like, I literally took like everybody's finisher. And I remember her saying, she's like, that was way too much. And I was like, I like really didn't notice because obviously I was like the greenest one out of Tennille and Jenny. So they singled me out. And I didn't realize how tall Chris was until I stood up next to her.
Yeah, she looks
gave me the
real
electric
tall.
chair. I'm like, this is really high. I remember thinking in my head, I'm like, this is really, really high. Is it really, really high? But I remember that was in the ECW arena. I don't like calling it the 2300 arena. I will always call it the ECW arena. But yeah, I do remember that match.
That was a while ago, though. That was like
it was a while ago.
That was like 3 years ago, I think it was 4 years ago.
Yeah. I couldn't even tell you what month it. That's what I mean. Like I can remember matches, I can't, and probably cities. But if you ask what month it was in, I'm like, no idea. Unless it's like Madison Square Garden, I'm like, that was April, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, that's obvious. Or like Vegas are easy to remember because Vegas was always around my birthday and Mandy's birthday or like St. Patty's Day. So I always knew we were in Vegas in September and March. Obviously, Final Battles in December and Supercards April. Besides that, I'm like, whatever days landed in between then, I can't remember.
I'm mad it's not in New York City anymore. They took it out of the Hammerstein. It hasn't been coming back there for a while.
So. Wonder why.
It's been going to Baltimore a lot. They rotate it around a lot.
Well, Sinclair Broadcasting's based out of Baltimore.
Uh-huh.
I think that's mainly why, because it was just easier, especially with COVID and everything. And I know, like, more up north, the stricter, like, CDC and COVID guidelines were. So,
yeah.
I don't know. I have nothing to do. I have no insider about, like, where they're booking or what arena they decide.
I remember the last ROH show I went to was with my other friend, and
I went with you too. I was there too.
No, it was the show before that one. I was stuck here in my state, in my town, without power for 9 days, and where I live on a side road.
Oh, that was a snowstorm, right? That was a snowstorm.
Yeah, it was a snowstorm. I told you.
I was there. I was at that show.
Were you there?
I was there. That was the one.
I had no power at my house for 9 days, Stella. I got the grace of God. I got out and I got to New York, and there was no power here. And then people are like, yeah, I've been doing this for 2 days, and I've been watching this show. And I'm looking at the people, and my buddy's like, don't do it, Joe. I can see your face. And I was like, and I was like, you could see like the Warner Brothers face turning red, the smoke started billowing out of my ears. And he's like, what have you guys been doing? Did you watch this? You prepping for this ROH show? And I'm like, you know what I've been doing for 8 days? And they're like, no, what have you been doing? My friend's like, Don, man, Joe, stop, man. I know you look mad. I've been sitting in my bedroom without lights. And when I feel like Ric Flair doing a rant, like about to go off on Mean Gene. I was like, I've been sitting in my bedroom without lights. I haven't been watching wrestling. I've been sitting in my house with no lights. So, where are you living? I was like, I'm in Pennsylvania. We had a snowstorm.
That was the show with Adam Page did the moonsault off the balcony.
Yeah. So was it the Hammer? Oh my God, I do remember that.
That show was awesome.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember. I don't know what I did with that video. I know I hate Snapchat with a passion. The only reason I keep it is so I can, like, our dojo brothers, like, we have a group chat, but we'll, like, send each other videos of, like, matches and stuff like that. And I swear to God, I thought I had that on video. I hope I didn't delete it.
Oh no, not that one. That was the show,
like, off the balcony, and he moonsaulted it. I don't remember who he was. I just remember thinking, you're crazy for doing this.
It was the Elite against Matt Taven, Vinny, Shane Taylor. Was in it.
Yeah.
Joe always jokes about Vinny.
It was so funny because the balloons went to the ceiling, and I'm like, damn, those balloons.
I feel bad who has to get those down at the end of the show.
I'm like, damn, that person has to.
We left them there. Nobody got them. Stay there.
It was like,
I remember, like, one time after the show, like, everything was shut down, and and there was like one lonely red balloon. I'm like, hey, Vinny, you got one balloon left. I love that though. That was like ingenious, like very it.
Especially at the Garden when he did the Garden. I'm like, oh geez.
Yeah,
they're gonna have to shoot a blow dart to get that.
I was wondering, like, how long does he wait under that ring? I'm like, because there's a lot of. If you ever did ring crew, there's a lot of crap under that ring. So that's not comfortable to lay under there or sit under there.
Yeah, you have to put your phone has to be fully charged or be a nice cell phone because your cell phone.
I wouldn't bring my phone out there; it would be broken within 2 seconds under the ring or in a match or anything like that. So one thing I remember, like, my family or my boyfriend would get upset, like, if I was at a show and I didn't respond. I'm like, if I'm at a show, you will not be hearing from me for at least 8 hours. Like, my phone is in my bag in the locker room. I am not bringing it like near the ring at all.
That all I could think is that balloon is gonna have to either be up there till like next year, or it's just gonna fall in somebody's head at a rock concert. Like, what the hell?
I was like, the only thing to do is like shoot it down with like a spitball like dart or something. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They're gonna have to get like,
the
nobody.
balloons
No, I think they eventually just pop. A lot. They'd be funny. Like, where was it that it always popped? Oh, in Vegas, because the lights. It was like receding lights. So it like after his like 2, maybe 3 matches after his match, you just hear pop, pop, and like people would like in the middle of a match, and it's like, oh, the balloons are popping from the lights because they would just overheat and pop.
everybody in Vegas starts to run.
It always made me laugh though, hearing them pop.
Yeah, like I
it
was
scared
saying
the
with
crap out of
Joe,
me. I realized like, and then the crowd would catch on too.
I would send pictures of the balloons at the garden, and I was like, this to Joe, I'm like, yeah, someone's gonna have to go and get those balloons down now.
Poor Madison Square. Those poor Madison Square Garden crew that has to shoot down those freaking balloons.
They're a union. They get paid a lot of money. I'm sure they. I was like,
they have equipment in the fucking garden,
union, and they get paid a lot of money.
Am I right, Stella? They got equipment in Madison Square Garden for that shit.
They have to. They have to. Or you figure like the Knicks, if they throw balloons, or like, or I guess balloons always come from the ceiling instead of going up. Well, whatever.
Yeah. What's the guy? I don't think the Knicks are ever going to win a championship. Sorry to say that.
I don't know. I don't follow the Knicks.
I'm just saying.
All right. Did you have any upcoming matches that you are?
I don't. So my trainer down here has been getting on my MCB back home. Keeps on asking me like, when am I taking matches? I haven't had anything booked yet. I kind of like I said, I'm a perfectionist, and I feel like I want to work on a couple things before I come back. Also, I have this like mentality in my head that I train at the ROH dojo, so I can't come back half-ass. So if I know like I'm very overly critical of myself, and I probably will be fine, but in my head, I feel like I need to figure out some stuff and get a couple certain moves under my belt before I come back. And I kind of like, I've been gone for a while, that I feel like I have to come back completely different. And so like, I have a lot of things I got to like work through, but secretly.
Yeah.
That's why I'm not that much on social media. I like to, I like the unknown and people not knowing. And then when it comes back with something completely different that you weren't expecting.
Yeah. There's one promotion in the side of PA that I live in. I don't know if you ever heard of the promotion PPW.
Yes. I think I might have wrestled for that once.
They're pretty good. I've never been there. I have a few friends that frequent those events, and their pictures and their videos on their YouTube channel look pretty good.
Yeah.
Another one promotion you should keep in mind if you're ever going to come back to the New York side area for indie wrestling is Victory Pro. Victory Pro Wrestling. They're pretty good. They're where are they based out of against Geek?
St. James.
St. James.
Long Island.
Yeah, St. James.
Yeah.
And the New York Wrestling Connection.
Staten Island. I just was I just met Dickinson for the first time at Final Battle, and he was giving me shit from being from Philadelphia. He's like, "You are a Philly girl through and through." I was like, "Where are you from again?" He goes, "Staten Island." I'm like, "Oh, you're a statty boy?" I'm like, "You can't give me shit, dude." All we do is talk shit to each other now.
Staten Island.
But in my head, I'm like, we're all the same. Like, everybody talks shit about our town or our cities over here. I just joke it's the Northeast. Like, nobody can match the Northeast mentality or our attitude.
Yeah, nobody.
Or come down. When I first moved down here, I was like, oh, I can't deal with the sensitive Sallies. The sensitive Sallies cannot handle a Philly. And I remember, I think he even said, like, what the hell did you move down south for? I was like, I don't know. Part of me is questioning it. Like, I am definitely a fish out of water down here.
Yeah.
Thunder Pete says Philadelphia.
Philly's okay. Yeah.
No, first off,
New York's number one.
Italian girl that breaks my heart. The moment I get home, I have a list of places I need to hit, and one of them is always Korean barbecue with CB.
Oof.
It's nowhere near here. He first introduced it to me in Vegas, and then he literally introduced it to the whole entire roster. I'm not going to say the name because I love this restaurant way too much, and I don't want it overly crowded in Vegas if we ever go. So it's all you can eat Korean barbecue, and it's so good. It's so good. But when I go back home, I think there's we used to go one like in Center City-ish or Chinatown, but now there's one like in the Northeast near the dojo, and it's amazing. So yeah, like Italian, Korean barbecue, and I'm trying to think. Like, yeah, it's mostly Italian and Korean barbecue. That's the first thing I go. And hoagies. I miss primo hoagie so much. They call them subs down here, and they're nuts. I can't.
I live near Scranton, Pennsylvania, and they try to drop in the word hoagie. So I went there to get something one time, and they said, "Oh, hoagie. You want a? Well, how do you want your hoagie?" And I just was like, "And I want the bag of." What'd you say? And they're like, "Hoagie. Oh, you mean a sandwich?" And they're
No,
like,
it's a hoagie.
"Oh, hoagie."
No,
Like,
I will fight. I will die on this battlefield. There's a hoagie, there's a sandwich, and then there's this crap they called subs in the South. A hoagie is a good roll, is a great roll. And you can only get, I don't know what it is about the bread and the dough and the pizza. That's the other thing. You cannot get good pizza down here either. And I don't even like pizza, but this Pizza Hut personal pan shit is ridiculous down here. But there are pizza places that serve that. Anyways, a hoagie is good meats and cheeses, and like oil and vinegar, like tomato. I don't even like tomato, but tomato and lettuce, and yeah, no. That's why I love primo hoagies. They use like Thurman's or deli meat, and they have like capicola, soppressata, sharp provolone. My mouth is watering talking about this. Obviously, like I said, I'm a fat girl in a low girl's body.
After the show, if we make this a clip about the sandwich thing, would you mind that part? And we can send that to you.
What part? Saying that
the hoagies.
There are so many better clips of this show I think we could have made.
Right now, we have so many clips from this episode that we could make, and we'll send you. We'll send you some clips of the episode.
This episode's been awesome, by the way.
Yeah, we're so happy we got you when we did.
Well, in between my food prep, gym, working, and trade. That's why even people down here like, so whenever you do have a free moment, can we please like hang out? I was like, yeah, I'll let you know. And I never stand you like you're a complete hermit. I'm like, I am a complete hermit. I'm just focused right now, and I'm not. I don't like to get distracted. So, but I really do. I'm just. I joke. I'm like, yeah, I don't really have that much free time, but
we appreciate
it. If I do, it's usually eating.
We appreciate you taking the time out to be on our podcast, though.
Yeah,
we really do.
That was the only thing. Luckily, I was working out. I was telling my girlfriend, like, I have to be done by 7 o'clock. Like, I have to leave. And then something happened, and she just left in the middle of the workout. And I was like, okay, I guess I don't have to worry about leaving by 7. Like, she left at like 5 to 7. So I was like, okay. But normally I'm there till like 8 o'clock on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and then the other days I go during the middle of the day. So I keep looking over at my dog. Have you seen me like panning over to my dog? So like anybody watching, like this girl's not paying attention. I have a little old dog that is being a pain in the ass right now. That's just
it's okay.
Walking around and growling at me because I'm not paying attention to him.
Yeah.
But if you have to go, you have to go. I mean, we just thank you so much. We thank you
so
much for coming up.
I'm not at the gym anymore.
Yeah. So you said you like Korean barbecue. What are your other favorite foods that you like to just
I'm a glutton. So I love most of the stuff I think of now is stuff that I can't get down here. But there is one I love Brazilian barbecue. Like, oh, you can eat stuff? Yeah, I am a fat girl. Like I love Chinese buffets. I love Korean barbecue, which is all you can eat meat and where you cook it in front of you. Brazilian barbecue is where they bring the meat to you and it's like slowly marinated like on a pit. Oh my god, so good. I love anything with truffles. If you make truffle fries, truffle popcorn, truffle pasta, my mouth is watering again. Like my dad jokes I'm like the anti-Italian because I don't like red sauce. I hate tomatoes. So a lot of people put chunks of tomatoes in their sauce. So I think that's why I like Alfredo. But I love vodka sauce. And again, can't find it down here. So whenever I go back home, I always get vodka rig with like, but I'm particular. I need like the rigatoni pasta and it needs to have prosciutto in there. If you don't put prosciutto in it, it's not really vodka rig in my eyes. I'm trying to think. A good primo hoagie. I don't know. Primo hoagies, vodka rig, some truffle Alfredo. I'm trying to think of something like random that I get. I don't know. A good burger.
Burgers are awesome. We know plenty of good burger
There
places.
actually is one amazing burger place, but they close so early, and it drives me insane. They close at 6 o'clock. I'm like, I literally just get done work, and I'm going like I don't have time. I'm not gonna pick up a cold burger. But I joke CB, like I joke with if you ever go to a state or new city, CB will tell you where to go eat. Whereas he's probably showed me like all my favorite places, and like Vegas is the Korean barbecue, Pittsburgh is Burgatory. This is where me and him go on discussions of where is the best burger, and I used to think Burgatory was, but the place down here might be tied with it because they put like this queso on it, and their fries are amazing. But Burgatory has really amazing shakes. But then there's this other place right near the dojo called Dog and Bull, and I think so. We joke like that's my top three is Burgatory, Muya Burgers down here, and Dog and Bull in Bristol, PA, or is it Croydon? I can't remember. But you'd think it's as simple as a burger, but when you have a really good one, all the other ones just taste like, yeah.
Prime Burger Bar is actually pretty good down in Long Island.
I don't think I've ever been to Long Island, so I'd have to. Yeah,
if you come here, you wrestle in anything over here, let us know like a month in advance. We'll find a way to get a ticket. We could all hang out, have pizza. We'll bring you some good.
It would have to be. I eat like a bird before a match because, like I said, I get anxiety and stuff like that. So
like the day before, the show, or something like that. Not the day of the show. We don't want you to get sick.
What? Like when we're in Baltimore, we always go to Jimmy. Oh, Jimmy's has. I don't like crab cakes, but I will always get the crab cake because they're just infamous. But they have this crab bisque. And the one time, I think like after a show, Burger was supposed to get me a cup of soup, but they brought me some other crab dish, and he felt so bad that he had Jimmy's ship crab bisque to me. It was the nicest thing ever, and it's still good. I didn't know Jimmy's does that. Any wrestler knows Jimmy's in Baltimore, and if you go into Jimmy's in Baltimore, like their whole entire wall just has pictures of wrestlers in there.
Nope. I guess we have to go there and drop a sticker off, Geek.
I know that place in Bristol. You know, what did I just say it was? Dog and Bull. Dog and Bull's, it's like a little dive bar, and it has a band, and it's right by the train station. It's a small place, but it has like really, really amazing food. It's gotta be busy, but whatever. I don't live there anymore. And we usually when we go there, it'd be after training. But they're known for their brunch. They have bacon Bloody Marys too. And Burger made fun of me about my
bacon Bloody Marys.
They either rim it with bacon and put bacon strips in it, or they have bacon flavored vodka. So they make it two different ways.
Whoa, bacon flavored. Remember that bacon flavored vodka.
Now we gotta know what the best pizza place is. We got what's the best pizza place you'd say you've been to?
Oh. I know there's the only one I can think of is down here because it reminds me of New York pizza because the guy's from New York and I think he has a dough shipped down here, and that's Atlas Pizzeria. I think he owns 3. There's like one in Chesapeake, one in Suffolk called Atlas, and there's one in Town Center. But up north, okay, so that's down here. That's like classic pizza. But when I'm back up north, I don't get classic pizza because you can get that anywhere, and I like truffle pizza. And there's
truffle pizza. What's that?
So some people just make it different. Some people just make it with like fontina cheese. It's like a white pizza. It's usually fontina cheese, maybe mozzarella, maybe Parmesan, olive oil. Sometimes they put like an egg on it, and then like truffle. It's like a mushroom, but you shave it like garlic, like it's razor thin, but it has a really pungent, like umami, like mushroomy kind of. I don't know how to describe it, but you smell it. Like if somebody orders truffles, you can smell it from across the restaurant. So I remember there was a place when we wrestled at Monster Factory, there was a place we went that had it. But the place I usually go to in the city, it's called, ironically, Stella Pizzeria. I think it's owned by like, there's a famous restaurateur in Philly named Steven Starr, and I think it's a Steven Starr restaurant. But they have a truffle pizza, and it's made with olive oil, fontina cheese, egg, a sunny side up egg, and truffles, and it's like a thin crust, but they have like this big clay oven in the middle of the restaurant bar, and they have Lambrusco, and I love it's a type of wine, Italian wine. So it's really off. I get like a red wine with a white pizza. Like you shouldn't do that, but I don't care. I don't follow rules.
Yeah, the mod's freaking out about the pizza right now.
It's more my dad. My dad's just like, Jesus Christ.
We love pizza here.
She's like, I gotta try this truffle pizza now. She's like signaling to me that I gotta try this truffle pizza.
So good. Like I can't like. I normally have truffle oil or truffle seasoning in my cabinet, but I don't know why I didn't use a lot of it this year. And I realized I went to use it. And I was like, oh, it's not good anymore. I'm addicted. Whoever, yeah. If you have truffle and you like it, you will be addicted to it. It's not. And well, the thing is, it's not cheap. So that's why people give you like seasoning or oil, because it's $1,000 an ounce. That's why they.
Oh my God.
It. Yeah. So
Geek, you're gonna be poor.
That's why, like, you get. Well, that's why you normally get truffle oil, and like, if you're a real chef, like, truffle oil is not real. I'm like, shut up! I'm not buying real truffles. Like, leave my poor self alone. But then I think Trader Joe's has. I think I just bought it too. A truffle seasoning, but you can get some on Amazon too. That's the thing. Some of them are good, and some of them aren't. But if you go to a restaurant where they have actual, you only need a little mix, a little bit. A little bit goes a long way because they're so pungent. But God, it tastes so good. So white is usually with like lighter dishes like pasta, pizza. I'm trying to think, like fries, like that's white truffles. Black truffles is usually like with meat, steaks, and whatever. I'm talking too much food, but it's so good.
No, you've been awesome.
But Philly is a huge restaurant town. That's why I don't. Philly is looked at like New York's ugly stepchild, but Philly has an amazing food scene. So that's what I miss most about Philadelphia is the amazing food you can get there.
We've got some pretty good cheesesteaks down in New York too.
Don't say the truth. You're gonna get beat up, Geek. I'm gonna let her speak. See, love Geek.
That's kind of sacrilege to be talking that shit.
I'm gonna move. I'm gonna move to the right and let Stella just full on spear your ass.
That's like
I'm just
like
gonna
saying,
be in here.
No, I'm gonna put this place.
Cheesecake, Georgia. Yeah, I'm sure they do.
No cheese.
It's
no
better
cheese,
than New York cheesecake any day.
No cheesesteak.
No, I'm saying that's like saying Georgia has better cheesecake than New York.
Yeah,
that's basically what you just said to me.
Yeah.
No, the name of the place is called Chitty's Cheesesteak. It's actually really good.
Chitty's?
Chitty's with a C. CHII.
Like Chitty Bang Bang?
Yeah.
What the fuck? Who names a cheesesteak? It's probably somebody's nickname, and I shouldn't say anything.
It is somebody. Actually, it is somebody's name. And
well, now I feel bad. Okay.
Yeah. It's somebody's half of somebody's name. I don't want to say his real name, but you know.
Yeah. Okay.
No. But shout out to Chitty's. They're awesome. So.
All right.
Yeah, I was about to say I'm gonna move to here because you just said it. I was like,
no, it's not Thunder Feet. It's actually really good. Come on, man.
It's bad. Somebody said it's bad.
That's Thunder Feet.
That's what I was like. You just told a Philly girl that cheesesteaks in New York are better than Philly. I'm gonna move this way as you get speared to hell.
It's just because of the roll. I swear, like that's the difference between hoagies and. Well, I guess New York might have the same rolls, but the cheesesteaks. That's the other thing. So if you know a true, if you're a true Philadelphian and somebody comes out of town and they ask you, where do I go for a cheesesteak? If you answer the quintessential two places, you're not a true Philadelphian, or you're just being an asshole and you don't want to share with people the real place to go. Because most tourists go to the two famous places and they suck.
They're expensive. They're freaking expensive.
Well, if you get a real cheese, I can't show you. If you get a real cheesesteak, it's like huge and like you have to like literally stand over a trash can and eat it because it's like greasy.
Yeah, Jimmy's is what Thunder Feet just said.
Jimmy's is good. There's Jimmy's. Tony Luke's is right around the corner from the ECW arena, so that's where we usually go. Steve's, and then there's another one that I can't think of off the top of my head. Jimmy's and Steve's and Tony's are the two most famous ones or three most famous ones that I could think of.
Oh, he'll be back. His camera had technical difficulties. No. He'll be back.
But if anybody says Pat's or Geno's, yeah, no, that's.
I'll just move to the right and let you just spear them to hell. I know you're busy training and stuff like that, but do you ever get a chance to play any like wrestling games? Do you ever have you ever made yourself or like looked yourself up on a video game to see if anybody has made you?
I know, I don't know how many years ago a fan sent me one that they created, and it was with my like black and blue pant, and I don't know what you would call it, sport for a top, whatever that was. Yeah. And I thought that was cool. I don't know if I have it saved somewhere or I have a picture saved on my phone, but no, I feel like a lot of wrestlers play video games. I'm the only odd bird out that like doesn't. because I had two brothers and they always hogged the video game and they would literally like beat the crap out of me and kick me out of the room. So I never learned how to play video games. They had no problem beating me up and showing me how to like play hockey and fight, but they never let me play video games. So I never learned how to play. I suck at video. And then I get frustrated and I probably would throw the remote like my brother would. So
thing is, what I do now, I set the whole roster up, I set the matches up, and I just watch every match. I'm like the GM.
That's boring, Joe.
I am bored. Thank you very much. I'm a 38-year-old board and I watch every show. I set up the match, set up how I want it to go, and I just sit in the GM by the TV and just do this. What did you learn? As they come back around the curtain, what did you learn? That's what
Fred was a gamer. I know like his spare bedroom was like all. I don't know what games he played though. I remember him telling me what game he played, and I can't remember. I remember he brought over his VCR one time, and that tripped me out. I was like, I'm not used to this stuff. But that I would do, like VCR games, but not like a gamer where I'm sitting in or like Xbox or anything. I don't know.
I got bored as I got old. Me and Geek used to play our games till like lunchtime. Now I create the matches and I just sit and watch. Like this.
I know the dojo. I don't know what they had. I think they had like a GameCube in the back room in the dojo, and like after training they would just go and play. And I'm like, all right, well you guys have your boy time. I'm out of here.
Hey.
All right, like whatever. Like won't even turn around. They just wave and be like, all right, see you later. So no, I don't play. Again, even with that boys club, we're like, fine, bye. I never played with them either.
Who's someone that you would love to face that you haven't faced before?
I always say this name, and I always CB's gonna make fun of me for saying the name wrong. Oh God, I'm so white that I mispronounced his name. Is it Io or Io? Shirai?
I think it's Io.
Io. I always used to say Io, and CB be like, it's not Io Shirai. Just because she's freaking amazing. If you watch her like old Stardom, I feel like she's kind of muted where she is right now. I'm not gonna say.
We get it because we were watching the me and the mod were actually watching the the Stardom match from Wrestle Kingdom the other night, and we were like,
the girls in Stardom are insane.
Oh yeah.
They start training at like 15, 14 years old. Like it's crazy how young so by the time they're like 19, 20,
they're awesome.
They're already like vets. And I'm like, people just started at this age and you're already like 5 years in. And their conditioning and their training is intense and serious. Like whenever Sumi would train, she would show us basically how they would train in Japan. And I'm like, I thought we had it hard until like Sumi showed us some of the training. I was like, oh my God, I would die. I would quit. Like I wouldn't want to quit, but God, I know when I first started wrestling training, after the first day, I wanted to quit. I have not experienced pain like that in my life. I remember praying for a bed made out of ice. I couldn't get out of bed. Like I just wanted to and I remember we had training the very next night. And I really do feel like they do this to show you, like, you need to condition your body to not take pain and you need to work through the soreness and blah, blah. But I remember Will messaging me and he's like, I know you're in pain. I know you're sore, but you need to show up tonight. You can push through. You can get through this. If he didn't text me that, I probably would have just chalked it up and be like, I can't do this. I'm too weak. And because God, oh my God, I'll never forget that pain.
Yeah.
It was so bad. But so I think about like these Japanese women that their training is far more intense. I was like, I would not wish that on anybody.
Yeah.
Did you have the opportunity to watch Wrestle Kingdom this year or not yet?
No, not yet. Like that's the other thing. The only reason I would go on Twitter is because obviously there's people that post clips more than like the other social media or links and stuff like that. And like UFC too, like UFC fights, I'll go on there. I'm like, somebody's going to post like a quick little highlight of how the fight ended so I can see it. But no, this week's been kind of crazy and I haven't seen like the last couple weeks. I was in Philadelphia and I just got back and then I feel like I don't even know what today is. It's just been crazy the last couple weeks. But I see, like, I follow some of the guys, like Will I follow. And so like, I see, obviously he will repost like highlights and stuff like that, but I haven't got to sit down and actually watch the full thing.
Yeah. Ospreay and Okada is awesome, by the way. That and Shingo Okada probably two best matches from Wrestle Kingdom.
Yeah. Well, I don't think Will ever puts on a bad match.
No, I don't
One
think
of
so
my
either.
favorite matches I've ever seen, just because of like the duality of the type of wrestling that they do and how they play it off of each other, was at the Hammerstein. And I don't think I was, like we said, graduated yet. I don't think I was wrestling at the time. I was just part of the dojo. Was Jay White versus Will Ospreay.
I was there.
Were you? My brother was. That was one of the first shows he ever came to, and I remember like talking. I'm like, all right, so that's Will Ospreay. He's from NJPW. I'm like, that's Jay. He was, but he's like on loan to us for a year. like both of them are really crazy talented and blah blah. And I think that's what got my brother in NJPW what, because I don't think he really heard of it. Maybe he did. I'm not really sure. But that match, he was just like, Jesus, like, holy shit. I was like, and I remember I think I was supposed to be like running gear back and forth, but I stopped and I was just like, it was just a crazy match. It was just constant back and forth, counter for counter, like, but also high flying, the like brutality of beating. It was an amazing match. It's still one of the favorite matches I've ever seen live.
Yeah, that's when Jay White was still a young boy, right? Young lion.
No, he wasn't technically a young lion. He was, because I remember he had the weight.
He wasn't Switchblade. He wasn't Switchblade.
No, when he was with us, he wasn't technically a white lion. He was a young lion. I don't know what they call it. Not an expedition. I don't know what where they basically, after you are young lion status, they want you to go somewhere else to basically work on yourself and wrestle obviously as many people as possible before they bring you back to decide who you like, what they want to do with you and your character. So I remember when he first came over, he would still wear the black trunks and stuff like that. But I remember that night he had white boots, white kick pads, and white trunks on. And I thought it was, and I think Ospreay was wearing like black shorts at the time, black and green.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember exactly, but I just remember like he had, I don't know if he was dyeing his hair blue at that time, like the bottom hair blue, but he had that jet black hair. And I was just like, that just like pops on camera. I'm like, that just looks cool too. And I think he came out with like he borrowed Shelly's white leather vest. So he came out with it. And I was just like, well, that's different. And because you're so used to seeing him in like just a black trunk being a young lion. And then that match, it was like all white. And I was like, well, this is kind of badass. So I just remember seeing like it just popped, like his gear just popped so much. And that's why people always joke like you never should wear white gear in wrestling because of how dirty it gets. And that's what people would give me crap about my white leather vest. But I'm like, if you get it right, it pops really freaking well on camera and like in the arena, especially with like the overhead lights. So I don't know. It's random stuff that I remember like that, like gear that I just liked.
It's so funny with all the different pictures you gave us to promote your episode with today's episode. You had the white outfit, you had the black outfit. I'm like, I'm gonna have to like make it the right, like find it in the picture. Oh no.
Well, I started wearing the white. I remember before my debut match, I was supposed to get gear, and the day of the show, the gear still wasn't delivered. And I was like, I remember at the ROH tryout, I didn't have gear, so I literally just wrestled in ROH tank top and yoga pants when everybody else was in full gear. So I felt like I looked like an idiot to begin with, and like I wasn't taking it seriously. And so like I that was one of the most stressful days I've ever had in my life, and I still have nightmares about that day. But so then my debut in July, this guy kept saying like, "Oh, I'll get your gear, blah blah." Comes to the day of the show, and he swears he's gonna like deliver it to us. It's like an hour or two before the show, and I finally get my gear. And I'm not gonna say certain stuff, but anybody else who got gear that day know like there was another problem we had to deal with the gear. But it was the only way I could describe it was the top was way too tight. Like if I literally, anytime I did something with my arms, like I felt like the gear was like cutting me here. Ooh. So this was tight, but then the pants were kind of like the inseam was like way too long, but it felt like scuba pants or scuba gear. It was way too thick and I couldn't move in it. So after that, I was like, I am not waiting another 3 months for gear. So I think I just found pants that I liked. And then I just saw this white leather vest and I was like, yeah, I'm going to wrestle in that. And that is literally gear that I found, clothes that I found online, and I made it my gear until I got gear that I actually liked made. And that was by Kim Killer. and she's based in Virginia, and she does like a lot of rock, but she does Jericho's gear, but like also a lot of like rock bands, and she does their tour gear. But I like that rocker look. That's why I went to her, and she does a lot of wrestlers and bands, and that was the infamous black pants and black. What do you call it? I remember with Madison Square Garden, I was saying like, well, maybe I should come out with something different. And I remember saying to her, I'm like, do you think you can make shorts real quick and have it to me for Madison Square Garden? She said, yeah. And she got it done with like in a week and sent it to me.
Wow.
So yeah, she was super fast because she did the pants. I was like, I basically want the same thing as a pants, just put a blue stripe and a couple studs and like call it a day. So that's why I was like, if I'm ever, because I was very self-conscious. I'm like, if I'm ever going to wear shorts, it's going to be for Madison Square. Because I really didn't give a fuck. I was like, if I die, I die. If I'm wearing shorts and like I look fat, I don't care. So, and then the picture was the one with the background that was at the ECW arena. I think it was just like, I think the AC broke that day. I just remember it being so hot in the arena that day. And I'm like, I'm not wearing pants, I'm wearing shorts. And I liked my pants just because I felt more comfortable in them and I felt like more covered. And I just felt like it was part of my gimmick. I was more like a Philly street girl than I was like every other girl that wears a top and the shorts. But I didn't care. I was so hot. But then I look at that picture, I'm like, I love that picture. Maybe I will go back to shorts.
Oh, jeez.
I like that one picture that you sent us. And then I couldn't find it because I had all the pictures. Then I made it into a video and I couldn't find the pictures after the fact of my deleted pictures on my iPhone. So I had to go, I had to look your name up on Google. And I didn't have hard to ask you, can you email me them again? I felt so bad asking again. And I'm like, I don't want this girl to be mad at me. So I'll just find it my way.
What picture was that?
The one I found that I loved is when you're on the set like this, and it says Stella above your head, and like on the big TV screen.
Oh yeah, that's the one I was talking about. That was at the ECW arena where it was 1,000 degrees that day. For some reason.
That picture. That picture.
Yeah, some fans took a picture of that, and I remember saying, "I'm like, do you care if I have this as my profile picture? Because it's such a great picture."
It's such a good picture of you. I'm like, oh my gosh.
I think when I reposted it, I think I did. If I didn't, whoever you are, please tell me and I'll tag you in it. Because it's just an amazing picture. I remember, I thought it looked like crap too because I like had my it was so hot. Like I had my hair like a curly, but it was just like falling down. I felt like my makeup was melting off. But I remember just being very self-conscious that day, as girls are, or even wrestlers. All wrestlers are like self-conscious about how they look and whatever. But because of how hot it was, I'm like, my hair's not curled the way I want to. My face, I feel like it's melting off. I'm gonna like walk to the room with like mascara like dripping down my face. But the fan took that picture. I was like, I have never looked better in my whole entire life.
You're all right.
That's why I'm like, I don't know. And I remember
you're posing. You were like,
I don't know if you're good with angles or something, but you got the best picture I've ever seen of me in a match or at a match. So thank you. And
it was good. I was like, ooh.
It was just like perfectly angled and it had the name. And I'm like, I don't know how, but I look really good in that. I look way better than I do in real life in that picture. So. I don't curl my hair and do like.
That other picture you like if you sent us was the one of you with the hole in the collar like this, and it was the ROH in the background. That one's cool too.
That was an artist. I can't remember. I think that was like mid-COVID. I was doing like a Instagram live, and an artist reached out to me like, "Hey, do you mind if I do I don't know if I'm so bad, like a graphic designer, like artist." So I was like, "Yeah, sure, go ahead. I don't care. Do whatever you want." And so that I think it shows in the picture. It's like 24K Studios.
Yes.
I think it is. Yeah. So when he did it, I was like, God damn! I was like, that's badass too. I was like, yeah. I'm like, I post it wherever. I'm like, I don't care. I'm like, I'm gonna post it because that's so cool. So yeah, it's mostly like fans and artists. Like, I don't know how to do this. I'm horrible with pictures and selfies. Again, another reason why you don't see me post a lot because I don't know how to do that. There's a lot of girls that know their angles. I don't. So when fans do it, I was like, "Thank you. Can I please steal it?" You know how to shoot pictures. I don't.
Because we've had wrestlers that we get. I'm not gonna say names. That I say, "Can you have any promotional pictures?" And they're like, "Oh, take what you want." And I'm like,
"I don't like we don't like doing that."
I hate that crap. I get so freaking. My grandmother was a photographer. My grandfather, my grandfather, and my grandmother were photographers. I feel that the wrestlers should send us the pictures that they feel that are appropriate.
Because they might say.
Let her finish.
No, go ahead.
I feel if we pick the wrong picture, that could mess up your gimmick or mess up something you're trying to represent at the time.
That's I have to say. There's like, it's more like if promoters don't ask for it and they just take a random picture. I remember who did that just happen to recently, and they're like, "Did they take a picture of me from like 4 years ago where I had a completely different haircut?"
Yeah,
like, great,
exactly.
they use that, right? And I was like, I did notice that, but I didn't want to say anything to you. There are especially if like you change gimmicks or looks, like if a promoter or somebody uses a picture from like your old gear, your old look, your old gimmick, you're kind of like, what the hell, dude? Like, could you use a more recent picture or something like that? Yeah, I understand that, but my look hasn't drastically changed that much. So I was like,
he sees that one of the girls, I can't not say a name, but she was like, "Oh, take what you want." And Geek, afterwards, me and Geek were talking on the phone. He was like, "Did she really just tell you to take whatever picture you want?" Because we had a wrestler send us pictures, and I was like, I don't know if I want to do this interview now. I don't feel comfortable. And she also asked us to send us our questions beforehand, and sent us pictures that I was like, skirt. I don't know. I can't come with these pictures.
We don't really, our questions though on our podcast, as you could tell, are we just go with the flow.
We're fun.
That's it. We go with the flow. We don't have a script or nothing. We just go with the flow.
So we're like the fun. We're like the dads in the Full House. We're fun.
I mean, sometimes
with that.
sometimes our questions get repetitive, but
No, there's some people like what's the one? I haven't seen it forever, where they have like the women to like badmouth the other women, like who do like spill the tea, like they pull out like the women's name, like give your honest truth about that. And there are some girls like, nah, she's a bitch, blah, blah, blah. I was like,
oh no,
holy crap.
We don't want to get that kind of heat on us because we're still new. Even though this is our second season, we're still green.
We're still green.
We're still learning shit. You know, we're still learning what to say, what not to say to people. Like, even though
that's what, like, if people want to talk, they'll talk trash with somebody if they want to. Like, but if people are prying, that's like, okay, you're just looking for like the shock factor. I don't know. Will you just come up and relax? The dog has to make an appearance because he's being annoying.
Puppy Wilkins.
Oh my god, just come up and chill. Okay.
Yay, puppy.
But he doesn't like the camera, so he won't like come in the camera frame. But I have to be touching him in some sort of way. Like
the mod's gonna be happy now.
Yay, puppy.
Oh, see, he won't. But like if I don't pay attention, he'll start scratching. But he knows the camera's on him. Oh, now you're gonna be hit because the camera's on you. Son of a bitch, you're making me look bad.
He's gonna be on hashtag puppy love on.
He's a little old man. That's why he gets away with murder. He's gonna be 13 in like a week or two.
We have all these young wrestling fans. Your dog is my favorite thing. How'd you see my dog? Oh, dude's at ringside. Oh, great.
You mean Rook the mascot right there?
Thing, I don't know where. Maybe CB brought it, but he like came up with the hashtag WrestleDogs because, oh my god, why can't I remember her name? I'm gonna be an asshole. And her dog's like famous for being backstage. Solo darling always brought her dog to shows, and he's so adorable. So
what's his name?
Then, what's the pupper's? His name's Brody.
Brody.
Everybody asked if I got it from Bruiser Brody. I wish I was that smart, and I wish I was that old when I named him that I knew that, but I didn't. I just like B names. I don't know. All my dogs have B names. I had a German Shepherd named Bane because he was the bane of my existence, and I loved Batman. But yeah, Brody is his name. But there's a lot of people. I think Kaya McKenna, she has a pug. I started bringing Brody to the dojo, and he turned into the dojo dog because he just wanted attention. So if I was in the ring, like other people would play with him. And so if I don't know if I can do it. Let me see. Hold on. Let me pull him up. See if we'll get a reaction. He normally freaks out. Let's see. Bro, do you want to go to the dojo? Do you want to go to the dojo? No, we're not really going. I'm sorry. No, I'm an asshole.
Yeah, he's like, now we got to go to the dojo. He's waiting for you.
He's whining. I'm an asshole. We're not going. I'm sorry, Brody. That's like 5.5 hours away. We're not going. I'm such an asshole. But that's I'm so sorry. I was kidding. I'm sorry.
Oh man.
Uh-oh.
Come here. Oh, okay.
Hashtag
he was brought all the time, and he got excited because I think, if I was wrestling or training, he would get all the attention from all the other people. So, if I ever see that word, or if he sees I have a specific bag, like a wrestling bag, he sees that, he knows like, oh, we're going to dojo. So like he just whines and cries and like runs in circles. So
that's another clip we could use for the show.
We're gonna send you these clips. What tomorrow? Geek is gonna be sending you clips tomorrow from the show.
No, Joe's gonna be sending clips because Geek is.
I'll
gonna
be at
working.
I'll be at my job in the black hole. So
I'll be working too.
Joe will be at his grocery store doing this.
Geek works for Coca-Cola, lifting heavy pallets.
Oh, well, that's all right.
And then I'll be doing this laundry, and then mailing things to people. Sending stickers to lovely guests, former guests. If you want a sticker, please, after the show, if you want in the chat on the in the Instagram, you want to send us your address, we'll happily send you a sticker from the podcast.
Okay.
Even though you say you don't have anything to trade back.
I've been out of the game for so long, and I remember over there saying like, "You need to really work on your merch." I was like, "Yeah, I don't have 8x10s. I don't even have a T-shirt or anything like that."
We don't have any merch either, so don't feel bad.
No, but that's how you make most of your money is off merch. And I was like, "Yeah, I really slacked on that." I'm very indecisive, so I had T-shirt ideas in my head, but it just wasn't fully like every time I drew it out, I'm like, it's not exactly what I want. It's not going the portraying what I want it to come across. So. Like 2 years and I still don't have a design.
Maybe
in my head.
you should just do the one that the picture you like, the one of you with your name in the background and you're posing like this, and it has you in the back.
I know that probably could be like that people could just do a picture screen and stuff like that. There was a fan that actually made a blanket out of that and sent it to me at the dojo, and I thought it was the coolest thing. I remember. I'm not going to share that story actually.
No.
But I'm like, is it vain of me to have my own blanket? I don't care. I'm like, when I'm like 90 years old, gray and like decrepit, I'm like, that is what I used to look like. So,
want to wrestle?
Gather around, kids. Look at grandma in her short little wrestling shorts and what she.
You want to wrestle?
But it's like I don't have it laying on my bed because that obviously would be like, I'm very vain. Look at myself in my own bed.
See me when I was young.
In the future, do you see yourself becoming a trainer, or would you want to do something like that? Or
I think so. Like, I still think I'm so green, but the school down here that I know there was a new student, and how I was trained was so well and so regimented, and like so many drills, and like part of me, like I remember I was trying to like go through a drill in my head this past weekend, and I was getting frustrated because I couldn't remember that exact same thing, but. When the new student was there, I was like trying to explain. I'm like, all right, well, at the ROH dojo, this is how we were taught, and we need to do this way, and you need to step this way. And it's nice, like helping new people learn, but also it's like it's more the mental thing. Like when new students would come to the ROH dojo, I think Will would always call me good cop because like they obviously were the trainers and they had to like push you to your limits, stuff like that. And you mentally break after a while because your body can only handle so much, and mentally, like it's just exhausting, and you're missing like friends and family, like I said. So you have to like talk to people, and like I would talk to students. I'm like, I know it sucks right now, and I know you feel like quitting, blah blah. So I like that because you can commiserate with people, be like, I was there just because I know it sucks now, but you'll get through it. So I think I would someday. I just think I'm so green now that it's kind of cocky for me to say that. I don't think I'm anywhere near to be a trainer. I believe in helping people. And if there's anybody new that comes in that trains, I will always talk to them, and more like the mental part of it. I'll show them certain stuff that I learned, but I don't like stepping on other trainers' toes because they're obviously the trainer. But yeah, maybe someday that'd be cool.
Me and Joe agreed, so at this podcast.
I'm so green that if I'll get in the ring.
We're green like the background right there.
I'm green. I'm so green that I'll get in the ring thinking I'm cool, and the whole crowd noticed my fly was down the whole time. I was like, oh, dang it. Or Geek so green that he tries to get in the ring, he'll slip as he gets over the rope and he'll fall and hit his head on.
Oh, that's happened.
Yeah.
I've tripped on a rope, like, because when I do my entrance, I like jump on the middle rope or the bottom and then the middle rope and like try to go in the crowd. I don't remember what match it was. I completely missed the rope, and when I went to bump, and I everybody in the crowd saw it, so I just gave a little smirk, like, I caught myself though, didn't I? Accidents and slip ups are bound to happen. Ones that are not that bad.
Yeah.
This has been a fun.
This has been an awesome episode.
It's been an awesome interview. This has been fun. We really had fun with. We're having fun. This is fun. I'm so happy.
I was just like, well, I'm an Italian Philly girl. I talk way too much, so.
Geek says I talk too much, though.
He does talk too much. I'm like, sometimes I'm like, Joe, you could end it now.
For me, as I said I said this last year, and I'll say this again. As we said before, we're green. We have been the fans that have been behind the barricade, ringside or upper deck, never getting a chance to actually meet and socialize with wrestlers. And now we are literally socializing with professional wrestlers on a daily basis at night. So we go home from our jobs, we go on the computer screen, turn on our microphones, turn on a computer, and we're hanging out with wrestlers every freaking day.
Yeah.
Like different people.
Not just wrestlers, other podcasters too.
Lately it's just wrestlers and owners and promoters and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Different countries too. We interview people from England, Scotland, Germany.
That's where I want to go. So, part of me says England's number one. Part of me says like New Zealand or Australia.
Japan.
There's some promotions.
I don't think I'm ready for Japan yet. I would love to go to Japan. Japan scares the crap out of me because I don't feel like I'm anywhere on their caliber. That I will just make an ass of myself if I go over there. I know the only way to get better is to push yourself outside your limits and this and that. But again, I'm like a perfectionist, and also part of me is like, you were brought on the ROH dojo. If you did bad, that looks bad on them. Like that's what I have in my mentality. That's why I'm very hard on myself. Is you were trained at the ROH dojo. If you look like an ass, you're gonna make the school look like an ass. And you're gonna make the company look like an ass. It's like so. That's why I'm always very trepidatious over certain stuff. But the women, every girl from Stardom I've come across are the biggest sweethearts in the world, and very patient and kind, and like willing to work with you no matter what. But I don't think they've realized. I'm sure they do realize their own strength and how amazingly badass they are. They probably like come over here like these weak little things that are barely doing shit.
It's like these Americans. It's like, well, what is that? Don't worry, we'll give them a 5-star match. There we go.
Yeah, we'll make them look. That's what I'm afraid. Like,
we'll wrestle a broomstick and make it look
these
good.
Poor Americans. These poor Americans. They suck.
It's also a language barrier. Like I remember Delirious talking about that. Like, wait till you go to like Mexico or somewhere else where you don't speak each other's language and you literally have to feel each other out in the match. And that happened. It was in Pennsylvania. It was a lucha show, and I did not understand lucha tag rules at all. I know it was me. Oh my god, I can't. This is where I'm going to be an asshole because I can't remember the two luchas that were in the match. But it's me and the lady. I can't remember her name. I'm an asshole. I can be called out for it. And then Bonesaw versus somebody else. So we're like, all right, me and Bonesaw will communicate, and they can communicate. So at one point in the match, I went to pin Bonesaw, and my own partner pulled me off. And I remember being so confused and trying to communicate with her, like, what the hell did you just do? And then there's no tag in, tag out in lucha. It's in, out, in, out, in, out. And I'm like,
it's as soon as you fall out of the ring, you're basically out of the
But
match.
I wasn't out of the ring. That's why I was like, well, okay. And then at one point, this is an infamous. Can you ask any of the guys at the dojo? The look on your face was, help me, I don't know what to do. The ref was choking me in the corner at one point, and I'm like, I'm not legally allowed to touch the ref, right? I'm not legally allowed to touch the ref, right? So I'm like panning over, looking for any familiar face, and like by the backstage, like, what the hell do I do in this moment? Like, and I remember looking over and seeing CB, Eli Isom, and Shaheem Ali busting their ass laughing because the look on my face was, please help me. I think I'm trying to remember the end of the match. I think like Bonesaw went I don't know how it ended. It was like a drop kick or what, but like the one lucha, then Bonesaw landed on her, and then my partner pulled the ref, and then she laid on him. I was like, guess what? I'm the ref now. 1, 2, 3. Match ended because I was so over the match. It was like a hell in a handbasket. No, I did not. There was no communication. Me and Bonesaw just like looked at each other, and we were like chopping each other back and forth because that's all the crowd was popping for. Like she was giving me soup because I call her like the queen of suplex. Bonesaw Jessie Brooks, because she's amazing at suplex, but they didn't care about that. So I was like, I'm taking suplex after suplex, and they don't care, but they just want to chop. So like, and they were doing lucha shit, and we're like, what? Can somebody explain to me what's going on in this match? And like, when are we like, who are we? Is it like individuals now? Is it not even a tag match? So that's why like, once I saw that lady like have them all three, and she like put her on, I was like, that's a pin to me. That's a pin. I'm the ref now. Ha ha ha! And the match ended.
I thought
why is that legal that the one of the people in the match became a ref and the 3 count counted? I have no fucking idea. No fucking idea. I still cannot wrap my head around that match. I'm sure it's on YouTube somewhere. You want to go watch it? Go ahead. If you understand it, please explain it to me.
Yeah.
Sorry. I thought Lucha Rules was like you get out of the ring and then you're out of the match now. There's no tags at all.
There was not a single. There might have been one in the very beginning because I forcibly tagged my partner, because I thought like this is where you're supposed to go, like because the other girl came in, I'm like, I can't communicate with her, and I have no idea what she's gonna come at me with, so I panicked because it was like one of my first few matches, honestly, like one of my first 5 matches, and I was not ready to be in a match with somebody that I did not speak, because I'm like, I don't have enough like muscle memory to like know counters yet. So I panicked and I just slapped her, like not slapped her, but like grabbed her. I think she was holding the thing. I went like that. My counts. It counts. Yeah.
Oh jeez.
Oh gosh. Oh boy. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Where can people find you?
Where can they find, like on Instagram and
exactly.
Facebook?
Twitter.
Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. I think it's all the same. It should be Stella Gray 215 at Stella Gray 215.
And once again, we want to thank you so much for coming on the podcast. By the way, you've been awesome, and we definitely want you to come back in the future.
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Please tell your friends about us from the dojo. We'd be happy to interview them. Like, we want more ROH wrestlers because you just opened the door, the ROH door for us, because
I don't think I have that much power.
Dying, Stella, dying. We've been looking. It's like, in the movies when they look out the door and there's like tumbleweed and there's desert. We're like, nah, no one's coming. No one's gonna come. Let's just put a shelf over that door.
All right. We will see you in the next one.
We will see you in the next episode.
Later.
See you guys.